observation. You can see a lot of stuff that I've written down there that looks like maths, but I shall explain it in a really, really straightforward way that makes it very simple. We've established already that approximately a 60-degree angle is ideal for us to either observe or to demonstrate from. So an angle of about 60 degrees here, so this represents yourself looking at someone in here doing a pole vault, run up and a pole vault technique. I drew that because it's about the only thing that I can draw, and genuinely that's about as good as I can draw. That's the best thing that I can actually draw. As you can tell, I'm good at science and not at art, but hey, everybody's got their things they're not good at. This is mine. So we've got that 60-degree angle from there. So if we drew a line up here, this would be approximately 30 degrees just there, okay, on each side. Now, if you treat this the way that I have as an equilateral triangle, that means that you've got the same angle there because there's 180 degrees in a triangle. 60, 60 and 60 equals 180. This means that you are pretty much, if this is 30 meters along here, this is going to be 30 meters along here, and this is going to be 30 meters along here. So, how far back should we stand? Because this is going to be a little bit shorter than this. Well, there's a very, very simple way to calculate this. And I've done it so you don't need to get a calculator out. So the distance here, if this is 30 meters, is going to be the distance in meters of the length multiplied by 0.866. So in this case, we've got 30 meters times 0.866, approximately 26 meters. For example, this is a 10-meter run for a long jump, a pole vault, or a high jump or something. You need to be 8.66 meters back. I'll put an N there, and then there. If it's 20 meters long, you need to be 17.3 meters back. 30 meters long, 25.98. So this is about 26 meters within a few centimeters. That's how far back you'd need to see the whole thing within that optimum angle, if you were in one fixed point like this. Now here's the thing with angles. We don't just observe from one fixed point. We are going to observe these things from several different points. Now, we may do this firstly from the side, then we may have the front, then we may have behind. And you think, well, what could you see from there? But I'll show you an example of something that you can see from behind, which you really can't see very well from elsewhere. So I'll show you an example of where that could happen. You can also, if you have the opportunity, you can go overhead as well. Going underneath is almost impossible unless you're in a swimming pool, but you could go under as well. Now, it's up to you, the coach, to move your position. So let's say I'm viewing from the side here. I would then go over here, there, to view from behind. I would go over here to view from in front. Let me draw some arrows. You could also go from this side as well. I don't have space to draw that in, but we'll decide between whether we stand this side or this side in just a few minutes. But we've got view from there, and we've also got overhead as well, or even underneath if that's something that is appropriate to the sport. You've kind of got to use your common sense to choose where the best place is to stand. Now, are we going to stand on the left or the right hand side of them? Now, this comes back to our open versus closed side demonstration. Now, if, for example, I'm in this position, there, taking off like that, you can see the back of my thigh. That's called a closed side of the body demonstration. That wouldn't be as good as if you could see it from this side, like this, where you can see the inside of my body. You see more of the demonstration because it's turned towards you. So, we've got to consider this as well. So, the thing that I want you to consider first is distance is going to be number one. So we have got a distance here. This is going to be number one. Then we've got position, number 2, and number 3 is open versus closed side, like this. These are the things that we are going to have as considerations, and without any doubt at all, there is no one answer to this question. You are going to have to move from position to position like this. Now, going back to my matrix, which you'll see in the previous example, if you're looking at what I would call medium range, this is what I would call medium range, where you're able to see the whole thing at a distance there. So if you're looking at medium range, you're looking at whatever the distance is here, multiplied by 0.866. That will give you a good distance to stand at what I would call a medium distance back. And it can seem a long way back. That would be the ideal place to stand to see the entire technique. So angles, much more complex than distance and speed. Quite a bit more important, I think, because it's going to give you the perspective that you want. But if I could give any advice at all, observe from as many angles as you can.
Let's look at some different angles now. Open side of the body demonstration. You wouldn't want to see this from the closed side of the body from behind. You wouldn't see anything at all. Here's some long jumpers. Open side of the body. You can see the inside of his thigh. Closed side of the body. You see the outside of his thigh. Closed side of the body. You see the outside of his thigh. Inside. And then the outside. So we can spot the difference between an open and a closed side of the body demonstration, and we can see a little bit more. Now let's have a look at a sprinter here. If we look at this sprinter, we can see the open side of the body. We can spot all of the angles from here. It's much easier to measure than if we have a look at the next demonstration, which is a closed side of the body demonstration. If we observe from the closed side of the body, the angles are harder to see. However, this is actually a good video because it shows lots of different angles. And the one that I really want to show you is the angle from behind. So when we get to a freeze frame there, I'll be able to show you what I wanted you to look at because it is of value. Here, now, there, we can see the bottom of his foot. That means that he's driven the foot back down hard into the blocks and finished the movement. Again, with the golfer, we can see something quite different. Now some pole vault, and again, this is something that is often shown from many different angles. You'll see from in front, you'll see from behind, and even overhead. Pole vault's particularly good for this. Look at that foot position again, finished the takeoff.